Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rob's video blog. So there are a couple professions and people in these professions that by and large, I'm going to make some generalizations, but has been my experience and it has been less than sterling. So those people and professions are lawyers, doctors, and real estate agents and bankers. Okay. Recently, my two kids, my 8-month-old and my 3-year-old, both got ear infections. They went to two different doctors. My 8-month-old went to our primary care physician who checked her, said, yes, she's got an ear infection, and gave her a prescription for amoxicillin. And then my 3-year-old went to the local urgent care. I think it was the day before Christmas Eve. She had an ear infection and was also prescribed amoxicillin. Fortunately, when we came home, my wife was like, why do the dosages look different? Now, my 8-month-old weighs about 20 pounds and my 3-year-old weighs about 25 pounds. So quick Google search tells you, under this age, it's this many milligrams of the antibiotic per this many kilograms of body weight. And so it kind of gives you a range of what the child should be taking. So my 8-month-old was given kind of the high range of the amoxicillin dose for an 8-month-old, her weight. And my 3-year-old was prescribed probably something about like a third of what the minimum dosage should have been for someone her age. So needless to say, for 2 or 3 days, my wife just gave her the dosage that was prescribed to her by the urgent care physician, and then happened to go back to her pediatrician because my youngest was getting a vaccination and said, hey, is this right? And she real quick took out her calculator and was like, no, this isn't even close. It's not even in the ballpark. Wrote her a new prescription. Drives me insane. I paid a copay. My insurance is covering this. And I go there and I literally get the wrong prescription. Think about what would have happened if we hadn't said to ourselves, hey, let's do a sanity check. My daughter would have taken this stuff. It would have destroyed her gut because it's oral antibiotics, and it wouldn't have made her ear infection go away. We would have went 10 days, she would have taken it, her ear would have still hurt, she would have went back, it would have been this whole thing, we would have paid twice for the doctors, my daughter would have been in pain, all because this person who's supposed to be smart, who's supposed to be a doctor, who has governmental power to write prescriptions that you or I can't write, despite the fact that we can do a quick Google search that says, hey, here are the symptoms, here's the age and weight, and here's how much you should take. And I almost want to call my insurance company and be like, don't pay this person, and write them a letter and be like, I want my copay back because I paid for you to provide adequate medical care for my daughter and you did it wrong. It's essentially malpractice. So that was our experience with Doctor. And, if you look on my channel, you'll see a whole video about Dr. Aaron and how he helped my oldest daughter when she was a baby with her eczema, because we went from doctor to doctor and they were just wholly unhelpful. So doctors are number one. Number two are real estate agents. Oh my goodness, real estate agents. These guys are the problem with real estate agents is they're asked to do basic contract law, at least in the state of New Jersey, when it comes to real estate agreements. And they have to make sure that inspections and the contract and realty transfer and taxes and fees and mortgage applications and all this kind of stuff. And they're all kind of they're not responsible for it, but they're in the middle of it. They don't, for the most part, my experience is they don't know enough to be helpful. They know just enough to confuse you and not be helpful. And they're kind of just a middleman between your banker who's trying to get you your mortgage and your lawyer who is actually reading and commenting on the terms and conditions of your real estate sale or agreement or whatever it is. So they can provide some value if you don't know the area and stuff like that. But I'm working with a real estate agent right now, super nice guy, and he's been helpful in some aspects, but in other aspects, it's just oh my God, dude, you're not helping at all. You're actually an impediment to the whole process. And I have not had a positive experience with real estate agents. I have not had a real estate transaction, and I've bought and sold a couple of houses so far in my short life. I have not had a real estate agent to date that when the whole transaction was over, I was like, that was good. That guy earned his commission. In fact, I sold my wife's condo without a real estate agent to save on the commission, and it was a piece of cake. It was way easier. Took some pictures, showed the house. It was way easier than hiring an agent. So That's real estate agents. The other one is bankers. And I guess what I'm about to say about bankers also is for real estate agents too. These guys are so friggin' pushy with things. Between when you're trying to buy a house and get a mortgage and close on a house, the real estate agent and the bankers, it's like you file an application for a mortgage and they call you 30 seconds later and they're like, give me these 50 documents. And you're like, all right. And it takes you a day or so and you get them the documents. And then they send you like 70 other documents and pages and disclosures. I had this one mortgage officer send me electronically, I kid you not, over 50 pages that had to be electronically signed. And she said to me, oh, I'll stay on the phone with you while you electronically sign these. And I like paused for a second and I said, this is going to take me well over an hour to read all of these. Do you really want to sit on the phone with me while I read them? And she was like, oh, well, if you just click through them, it takes like 15 minutes. I'm not just going to click through 50 to 60 pages worth of legal disclosures when I'm taking out, when I'm taking on a massive financial obligation. I mean, Jesus. And they're just so pushy. They're so pushy. You submit an application, they send the stuff in, they're calling you. They're calling me at 5 o'clock at night while I'm eating dinner, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 a.m. in the morning. They're calling me. Hey, I'm just calling to make sure on this. We got to get this in now. Can I have your credit card? Send in the check into escrow. Have you talked to, it's like, guys, calm down. Calm down. This is in the span of like 1 week. I went to look at a house. I kind of looked at a house. I made an offer on it. I applied for a mortgage, and like the real estate agent and these mortgage officers are like out of control. Like, we got to get it done today. Oh my God, we got to get it done today. I don't know if it's like they're trying to make their end of the year quotas and that's why they were trying to cram it in or something, but I don't know. These guys are like nuts. And I want to just tell everyone, slow down, calm down. You yelling at me to get something done faster, and this is my personality, is going to make me purposely take my time and do it slower. Okay? Relax. The house isn't going anywhere. The world is not going to end. The deal is going to go through. Everyone just calm down. And these mortgage brokers and these real estate agents, they share these traits in common. Another thing they share in common is both of them, and this has been my experience with a number of, again, real estate agents and mortgage loan officers or mortgage brokers, they are constantly telling me everything that they're doing as to like tell me like, this is what I'm doing for you, like proving to me their value. Well, I'm going to file this paperwork with this person and I'm going to do this and then I'm going to go check this and I'm going to go and check. I want to be like, I don't ask the chef at a restaurant to explain to me how he makes my dinner. I just order my dinner, he makes it and asks me how I like it. Like, just, I give you the paperwork, go do what you have to do, come back with like an offer or a couple options, and then I'll select one and we can talk about it. Like, don't tell me all the things that you're going to do. It's not even like information that would be helpful to me. Like, hey, you have these options in your application, or you have these options when you're making an offer on a home. It's just like, they just keep telling me all the things that they're doing for me. Like, I'm going to say, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Not like, oh, this is a part of your job. Just go do your job. In fact, the more you talk to me and tell me about all the things that you're going to do, the less I want you to do it, because then I just think to myself, why am I paying this guy to do this? I can do it myself. So that's those three. That's doctors, that's loan officers or mortgage bankers, and then real estate agents. And the last one are attorneys, lawyers. And I have a brother-in-law who's a lawyer. Actually, he's a really great guy. Super nice guy, very smart guy. Really good guy. Speak very highly of him. And actually, my personal lawyers that I use are actually pretty good. They're pretty level-headed. They're straightforward. They're not too, with their nose turned up and that sort of thing. But my God, I have spoken to some corporate lawyers. Some of my corporate lawyers are just like, oh my God, they just talk. They talk. It's like you ask their opinion. Hey, I have this scenario. What should I do? Instead of just being like, you know what, not really my area of expertise. Let me look into it. They go on like this hour-and-a-half dialogue as to what potentially they might look into or what might be the case, but they don't actually know anything specifically. And again, it's almost in the vein of like, here's all the things I'm going to do for you and find out and then get back to you. And I just want to be like, just tell me, what I need to do. Here's my situation. Give me the legal advice. Give me the legal options. You don't know and you have to research, and just say, you know what, not quite sure about it. I will look into it and get back to you. End of statement. But my goodness, my experience with some of these corporate attorneys is just like they just get on their soapbox and they just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And at the end, I'm like, they talk a lot but don't say anything. And I don't know if it's I kind of get the impression, and maybe I'm just, I don't know, but I get the impression that they're just like self-important, like, oh, I'm the lawyer in the room. You know, there's 7 people in this meeting, and I got specially called in because only a lawyer can handle this. And listen, I get it. Yeah, like that's why you're here, because there are specific things that you're supposed to have expertise in. Just do your job, help us out with it, and move on. Okay, we don't, you know. Jesus, when as an engineer, when someone says to me, hey, I need you to design this thing, I don't sit there and tell them about Bernoulli's equation and all this stuff and how I'm going to research this and how I'm going to consult this guy and consult that guy. I'm just going to go, all right, we'll design something like this and we'll get it back to you. Boom, end of statement. So, I don't know, maybe I'm being a little bit of a curmudgeon here, but it's just like, you know, some things, you know, legal agreements, and when you're dealing with the law, and when you're dealing with large sums of money or big pieces of real estate and stuff like that, it's just like everybody's got their finger in the pie, and everybody's got their own thing that they want to add to, and it's a fairly straightforward, it's a fairly simple process for the most part. There are some nuances here and there, but I don't know. It just those are 4 professions where I just have had not so good experiences. Like I said, I do know some. I have a friend who is like a part-time realtor. I know personally. He's a great guy. And like I said, my brother-in-law is a lawyer, and he's a great guy. And actually, my personal lawyers, for the most part, are pretty good. But my God, my experience outside that, in regards to lawyers and doctors and real estate agents and loan officers and stuff, has just been absolutely brutal. The customer service is pretty bad. So, and especially when these are solely service sector jobs. You know, they're not actually providing a product. You have to have good customer service. You know, you have to make people feel comfortable. So when these lawyers and when these bankers and when these real estate agents are pushy, I mean, I don't know how many. I've never spoken to someone who's been like, oh, I bought a house and it was like such a great experience. You know, the real estate agent was super prompt and super helpful, and they were very patient with me. And, you know, the loan officer sat down and went through all the disclosures with me. They went through the options on points and all this kind of stuff and explained to me what I could, you know, different ways that I can do it. But I have never heard anyone ever say that experience has been a good experience. It's always been like, oh my God, it was a complete disaster. So it's like, if anybody's looking for a business to get into, or that's definitely a huge market need, to somehow make the loan process and the real estate purchase process a lot more consumer friendly. Maybe I have to think about my previous video blog about aligning incentives. Maybe I have to figure out a way to get those professions to properly align their incentives to service the customer in order to get that to happen. But so that's just my 2 cents. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you again next time.